Hello Model Railroaders, I'm Dave. Welcome back to the layout. I'm in my converted cold room, which in previous videos I went over how I converted that into a spray booth area where I've got my blower from a furnace or a water heater, I can't remember which, that actually pipes it outside through one of the air vents. Now the room is very echoey because it's concrete, and I see I've still got some water seeping in over the winter. I've got a stain there, and that's from the slab above us, which is the front porch. However, that doesn't impact the spray booth or the quality of work coming out of it. That's all down to me. So, moving forward with one of my many projects that I'd expounded on in previous videos is dealing with the castings that I did using the plastic resin and with the ultracal 30, which are these castings down here. And I've used my Vallejo gray and black primers to give them a coat, and the ultracal 30 did coat over very well. I'm not seeing any issues in coverage. The pock marks and such that you can see on the crate are due to my not having it under pressure when the mold was cast, so there's minor air bubbles and such. But everything coated very well with the primer. I'm quite happy with that. So I know that in certain circumstances I can go ahead and use the ultracal 30 for things like the crates, which I have here ready to try a wood toned color on top. Now what I've done is I've just taken a paint stir stick, and wrapped tape over top, as you can see, and then just taped around the end, and that gives me a double-sided piece where I can hold the very fine ultracal 30 casted crates on, and then I can arrange the stick however I want it when I'm using my airbrush. And let me just set that back down. And the airbrush I've bought quite a while ago actually was a Iwata Eclipse HP-CS. I wanted something that was a more professional grade airbrush and not a cheap one. I didn't want to learn off something where I didn't know was it my technique or the equipment I was using. So I bought a mid to high grade airbrush. I have the 0.5 needle, millimeter needle in this. It came with the I believe it was a 0.3 needle, and then I bought the kit and the nozzle, or the needle and the nozzle, to convert that to 0.5. I've been moving onward with my refinery tank, though I had mixed results with it so far. I do have a couple ideas to move forward with. However, I completely forgot that the filler that I had purchased was solvent based. So of course, as soon as I applied it, it attacked the foam, which didn't help matters. I did try, as you can see, priming the foam and the plastic, and then tried reapplying the putty filler, but the solvent, which is probably toluene, was still able to penetrate the acrylic paint and attack the foam. So I did use a Woodland Scenic product. The name is escaping me at the moment. It is like a flex filler that I had, and I did have some slight bit of success in getting it to form right, but I'm going to go ahead and see how this flex paste, I believe it is called flex paste, how it actually takes a coat of paint, and then I can of course try other products. I'm going to try the foam putty actually, and I did find that Vallejo does make an acrylic paste. I didn't want to get into any of the different caulkings from the big box stores because, you know, I really don't know if they will work or not on the foam and how well they would be able to sand. I was having a bit of an issue with this flex paste in sanding it, so I believed I would probably have the same problem with any of the other brands of caulking. So I'm going to try the foam putty, which I had used before, and see if that will perform to the degree I expect it to, and if not, then I'll try the Vallejo acrylic putty, which I know won't attack the foam, but I was able to sand, after priming it, I was able to sand and get all the little fuzzies of the foam off the top, so I'm quite happy with how that aspect of my trial turned out. And again, this is the prototype. This is where you make all your mistakes, and you know, as a model railroader, we know that the first time we try something, odds are mistakes are going to be made just because of lack of experience, and that's what this particular tank is gaining that experience. And once I've got it dialed in where I am confident in the product that I can generate, I'll do a video on doming out and take you through all the different steps required in generating a very nice looking refinery storage tank. So that will come in the future, but I just wanted you to get a progress update of sorts and get a little idea of how the ultracal 30 worked out as far as using it for various parts. As you can see, like here's an unpainted piece compared to a primed piece with the black surface primer. And there's another piece that I may or may not, I believe it's possibly a roof unit or an electrical. I can't remember what the original part was. I know it's a roof detail. It could possibly use it as an outside transformer outside of a building. The ultracal 30 did fairly good for taking the shape, but I think I'd probably stick with it in plastic just because of some of the finer details. Looking at the different primed, this is an ultracal 30 piece. The detail with the primer stayed very well. I'm quite happy using the airbrush in items like this that have very fine grain detail, that are going to be more of a background item rather than a foreground, though the detail is such that it will work as a foreground item. This is a plastic resin cast painted with the black primer, and again there's not really a big issue. You can see a little dot of the white plastic showing through over here. Overall, very happy with how the primer covered. And again, this is me getting back into airbrushing after 7 years of not performing it. Again, this is a plastic casting. And I never did get into detailed airbrushing. I just started learning it at the time. And again, this is a plastic cast of the wire spool or cable spool. Very happy with how that casting came out. All the little details here of the tie downs, I guess they are, came out nice, as well as the gray. You know, this is again plastic. The gray primer did a very good job of coverage, though it's a little harder to tell since the tone is so close if you're overspraying or underspraying. However, the detail is still showing through the primer, so I'll definitely look at different tones or shades of the Vallejo primer. Again, here's the box in the plastic in the gray primer that I'll try a tan or a light brown on the mold of plastic mold of a tarped load. I'll give that a blue, probably. Try and simulate a blue tarp. But here's an ultracal 30 in the gray primer, and it came out just as well as the black. A little easier for coating, as far as determining where you've coated or not in the gray primer. So I predominantly will, I believe, depending on how the top coats come out, I will use the black primer for the initial coverage, and then I definitely know where I've got sufficient contrast when I'm applying the top coat, the colored paint for the top coat. And there we are. I just wanted to give you a look at the progress I've been making. I know it's not track related. I do have to go out to a hobby shop and get some rail joiners for Pico track and the Woodland Scenics foam putty, so that I can continue with my tank builds and getting the last of my spurline tracks situated, and then hopefully once I get all these little tiny parts done and I can get them removed off my work area, I can start in on some new projects, whether it be casting more of some of the detail parts or subsidiary parts to go along with the different building vignettes, or get into some scenery. But for now, I'm Dave, and till the next video, bye for now.